Hello guys and welcome to SmackDown. This is our first ever episode of SmackDown and tonight's going to be a very sort of special event. There's a lot of matches that have like big implications really, such as this first match, Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins, and then we've got another match later on in the night which will be Bad News Barrett versus Fandango, which is a rematch from Raw. And then the winners from those two matches will go head-to-head on Raw, and the winner of that will be the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship at the Royal Rumble. So here we go, Fandango vs Bad News Barrett, booked for much later on. We also have, I would say, two other matches that I would consider quite big matches, interesting matches. Which includes this match. Basically, Dean and Dolph have teamed up just for the time being to take on the Clique, because the Clique are they have a lot of power. They're very close friends with JBL, who is the general manager of Raw, so I guess of SmackDown as well. So Dean and Dolph are just standing up to the powers, and then we've got this, which is Brock versus Batista, and the winner of this match will be like John Cena's test. They'll go up against Cena on Raw, and Cena will have to prove that he deserves a shot at Randy's title. So we've got a lot going on, and our main event is Jericho RVD. Nothing really big for this match apart from the fact that these are two guys who are going to want to get their foot in the door and start to prove themselves. So we're going to kick things off with Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins. Seth, of course, on Raw looked really impressive in his victory against Cesaro. But Daniel Bryan obviously is a huge competitor. I was so happy when this game came out, and just because obviously in 2K15 Bryan was still doing the no chance in that game, and it was just crazy because I waited for so long to get the updated version of him. And we got Seth coming through the crowd. Obviously the fans are going to be on the side of Daniel Bryan. There are a lot of guys who you can respect their in-ring ability, but it's difficult to respect their attitude. So this match is kicking off now. Bryan with a huge kick to start off with. That could have knocked Seth out already. Daniel Bryan is very dangerous in the ring, I would say.
Got him around the waist. Here we go with Daniel Bryan.
Bryan's just technically sound in the ring.
What's your take on Seth Rollins, King? If you were in
a lot of lockups here.
I'll say one thing about Daniel Bryan.
Oh, Seth actually mounting some offense. Pardon me. I feel like this is going to be one of those matches where there'll be a bit of a stalemate. As seen there. See, it's in this instance that I quite like the grapple system. You know, you'll have like that burst of offense, then they'll go back and rest, and I think it's realistic in that instance, but sometimes it does get annoying. It's very noisy. You can probably hear a lot of background noise, which I apologise for. It's the first episode I've actually recording like back home. Bryan just focusing on the legs of Seth, trying to keep him grounded. That's the smart thing to do. I think there should be a thing where like the camera should there's so many times I find that the ref gets in the way in this game, and I wish there was a way that it could sort of notice when the ref was in the way and then obviously change camera angles. I wish we had more TV like angles. See, like I said in this match, it's a back and forth match. Is that the knee? Nah. Bryan going for that flying headbutt. Headbutt straight to the chest. Pin cover maybe. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. Seth still in it. Rope break. That could have been it there. Every time I see Bryan leave his feet, I think he's going for the knee. I'll see that kick on TV in this game. It just always looks so good. Like I've said before, out of nowhere, that is Seth's entire moveset, really. Standing moonsault. It feels as if Seth didn't really scout Daniel Bryan probably as best as he could. I think Seth, with the Seth Walker out of absolutely nowhere. Bryan kicks out before even a count of 2. But that could have brought Seth right back into this one. He's taken Daniel Bryan off his game. Bryan leaping pretty much across the whole length of the ring there. See, the crowd is going absolutely crazy. This is what I love. Guys need to go out on SmackDown and they just need to, you know, everybody wants to be on Raw and everybody wants to be in main events, and SmackDown's the best place, I feel, for guys to prove themselves. And these two are definitely doing that right here. What's Bryan thinking? Bryan with the kicks. The crowd screaming yes as Bryan connects with that final kick. Bryan maybe should go for a pin here. Or he could be stalking Seth for the knee. Seth might not want to get up here. Bryan connects. And I think, yes, Seth is split open. But Bryan's taking maybe too much time here. 1, 2, 3. Bryan able to pick up the win. I think maybe Seth was just knocked out cold with the knee. Both men fought extremely hard in this one. There were a lot of instances where I was extremely surprised that they actually managed to kick out. Here's an example. I mean, we can't take anything away from Seth. I thought it was over here. But again, they kept on going, kept on fighting. And now Daniel Bryan. He will face either Fandango or Bad News Barrett on Raw. Daniel's one step closer to becoming the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. And the crowd is firmly behind Daniel Bryan. I swear this game could take a while to load points. So our next match, a match I'm very excited to see, we've got Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler versus The Click. It's like I said, Dean and Dolph aren't like an official tag team. Because, you know, these are two guys who both want to go for the world title. They want to aim to get to the top. But they know that they're going to continue to be held back and overlooked with guys like The Click in the picture. So this is a very good way of them proving themselves.
The following tag team contest is scheduled.
There he is, Dean Ambrose. Probably my favourite wrestler at the moment.
And his tag team partner.
I always think when I see Dolph come out, like, because he's the default champion in the game, and he always just looks so bare without the Intercontinental title when he comes out for his entrance. So here they are, the Clique. Triple H and Kevin Nash. And these two look like they mean business. They have that sense of arrogance about them, though. Like, I don't think they respect Dean or Dolph, or I think they won't even humour the idea that Dolph or Dean could win this match. See, in everything they do, there is that sense of arrogance, especially from Kevin Nash. Like, Kevin Nash is very well known for it, and I think he influences it a lot upon Triple H. That back elbow, though. I mean, Dean's one of those fighters that will just go out and put his body on the line, and he's got such a, like, unorthodox fighting style, but it makes him incredibly entertaining to watch. I mean, I could see Dean or Dolph walking tall as our WWE champion here. I think they'd both be fighting champions. I think Triple H wants in this match. Big DDT. I mean, this is the other thing. In a match like this, Dean wants to prove himself, Dolph wants to prove himself, so will we see them tag in and out frequently? Or will they want to stay in and prove that they can just take on the world by themselves? You know that Triple H doesn't want to be embarrassed in this match. And I think a loss by any account would be embarrassing for Triple H. I mean, we don't have Triple H as the actual sort of boss, because he is on the active roster. He will be competing a lot, and I think, it just came from the heads, from the top, that if Triple H was going to be an active wrestler, he wasn't able to be the boss. So yeah, JBL was put in charge of the Raw brand, of the main sort of WWE shows. And then, of course, William Regal is our GM down in NXT. The famouser. I think Dean was smart to tag before he sort of exhausted himself. Quick tags and keeping each other fresh is very important in tag team competition.
Oh my gosh!
This match now spills to the outside. This can't be good for Dolph, but Dolph managing to fight off the onslaught, but only for a moment. That was cool. It looked like Dolph almost managed to duck under Nash's move while performing the neck breaker on Triple H. And Dean's finally here to sort of make the save and protect his partner. Dolph's looking a bit shaky on his feet. Really might need to make a tag to Dean. Famouser out of nowhere, but he's still stuck in that corner and needs to fight his way out that corner. Also, I think it's important that I just say I hope everyone had a good Easter. Quiet bank holidays, this is how I spend my bank holidays, clearly. Dolph making the tag, that's a smart tag. As soon as you have a bit of space, a bit of separation, you need to make the tag and keep yourself fresh. But Nash coming in, I mean, like, Triple H, is a big guy, but Nash is an absolute giant. Like, he's the kind of guy you want around to be your muscle. I mean, Kevin Nash is he's been a bodyguard really for a lot of, guys like Triple H, Shawn Michaels. It seems to me that Triple H only wants to come into this match when one of the other guys is down. He wants Kevin to come in, do the damage, and then Triple H wants to pick up the win, but Dean with a good reversal there. Nice basic body slam there by Dean. Now I think Dean's stalking him for the dirty deeds. He hits it, Dean connects with the dirty deeds. Knocks Kevin down. Pin Dean, go for the pin. Dean finally, I think Dean was trying to check and make sure Kevin was definitely down, but Triple H kicks out all by himself. Kevin didn't even need to break up the pin. That shows a lot of fight in Triple H. Triple H now, he's running on fumes, but he's throwing everything he can at Dean. And now Triple H smart to make the tag. I think Dean might need to make a tag of his own. He's crawling towards Dolph. But Kevin Nash shuts him out. Shuts off his attempt. But I think Dean's trying to take him on by himself. Dean can't get carried away. He needs to make the tag. Otherwise he'll lose this for both himself and Dolph. And Nash now, have they got any game plan here, or does Triple H just feel ready to come back in? Dean rebounding off the ropes and the clothesline. I do love that clothesline. Dolph finally tagged in. But see, with that clothesline, I think it needs to be performed correctly, because sometimes Dean does it, it looks great. Other times, either his sort of reaction to bouncing back is slow, or he comes in and he'll hit an opponent but they're looking straight at him. I feel like an opponent needs to turn into it for it to have the right impact. Also just want to apologise, because I've noticed I say and a hell of a lot, like a ridiculous amount, pretty much between every sentence. But that's something that I do, just in regular conversation I do it as well. I was going to edit it all out, but the amount of time that would have taken and the way the cuts sounded was just incredibly weird, so I apologise for that. Anyway, back to the match, and I would say it's been fairly down the middle thus far. I expect these teams will meet perhaps more than once. I don't think either of them is going to be satisfied with a single victory. Triple H finally making the tag, and Kevin Nash just coming in, taking out both men. This could be the end. Dolph taking a big shot to the stomach there. And the hot tag in this, I enjoy things like the hot tag, because obviously it just adds that bit of suspense to it. And Dolph with the zigzag. It just goes for rope break anyway. Triple H didn't even need to make that save. Dolph tagging in Dean. He said, but I've given it my best shot, it's your turn now. I think once you've got momentum like this, you just need to keep on your opponent. Dirty Deeds takes down Triple H. This could definitely be it. He's already been hit with a zigzag. Dolph Ziggler coming in just to make sure. 1, 2, 3. Dean and Dolph have gone against the Clique, and they have come out victorious. This victory, of course, absolutely huge for Dean and Dolph. The whole point is they're making the statement to the higher powers that, yes, we are main eventers, we deserve those chances. And I think, they're very in the mindset of the future is now. You know, they don't want to have to wait any longer. They're sick of being told that their time's coming. They just want to have all the opportunities now. They work quite well as a team as well, it's probably worth noting. You know, because they've got, for now at least, they've got a common goal. But down the line, you know, who knows, these two could be fighting for a spot in the main event and for the title. I think we're going to go ahead and simulate this one. We'll play the Fandango match and then we'll simulate the Chris Jericho RVD one. I think will be my plan of action. So remember, whoever wins this one, they will go on to face John Cena on Raw, and it'll be sort of John Cena's test. And obviously one of these guys would love the chance to fight for the WWE title, and it's Lesnar. So Lesnar versus Cena, that'll be over on Raw. Quite a big loss really for Batista, so we'll have to see how he bounces back. But let's go ahead and play our last match here on SmackDown, or at least this is the last match we're going to play. This should be an interesting match, of course. I mean, after the upset that Fandango got on Raw over Bad News Barrett demanded a rematch, and the stipulation was just put on that they'd be part of this search for the Intercontinental Championship #1 contender.
And approaching the ring from Preston, England.
I think Bad News Barrett sort of learnt his lesson. He underestimated Fandango. It did cost him the match, and now, you know, he's going to be out really for Fandango's blood. Straight away in this match, it looked like Barrett was going for quite a vicious kick. One thing I've noticed about Fandango as you look now, as he takes control, is I think he was just as shocked as the rest of us when he beat Bad News Barrett on Raw. And I think he's the kind of guy that's gone, I've made a statement, now I need to up my game. And, you know, he's been watching tapes of Bad News Barrett. It's going to make reversals come a lot easier to him if he knows his opponent, knows his moveset. And you can see now Fandango doing a pretty good job early on. Bad News Barrett as well needs to remain calm, because anger can get the better of people sometimes. It throws you off your game, it makes you less focused, and you're more likely to make mistakes. I think as well in this one, you know, this is a big match. The winner of this is going to face Daniel Bryan on Raw in a #1 contenders match. There's a lot more on the line this time for both men. Wade's trying desperately just to shut down Fandango's offense, but Fandango thus far has had an answer for pretty much everything. I personally, myself, I mean, not trying to be biased, but I do like to find people to support in feuds, and it's difficult in this one to say who I would support. I mean, Fandango's never been much liked by the fans, but you can't help but admire what he's managed to achieve. At the same time, I think, you know, Bad News Barrett would have been my pick definitely in this one. And so far it's been pretty even. Like I said, Fandango's done his homework, but Wade just keeps charging in, and I think that's why Fandango's got that extra bit of time to sort of think and just react to what's happening.
Wade Barrett is extremely dangerous with his fist.
Just trying to analyse this. It's a fun one to analyse. I think as well both men thus far trying to just keep it in the ring. Oh, as soon as I say that, Wade jumps out. And Wade's going straight for that table. You know he'd love to put Fandango through the table and just completely have Fandango out of this one. Fandango's head bouncing off the table. But Fandango's able to reverse it. Oh. Wade's head could have very well caught the very metal edge of that table on the way down. I'm surprised it didn't go through the table. Referee's at a count of 6. Wade needs to get back to his feet. Wade's back up, count of 7. But Wade really needs to just get back, count of 8. Wait, Fandango's knocked him straight back down, count of 9. Wade, you need to get up. 10. Fandango's won by count out. He was able to just keep Wade down those extra 2 seconds. Fandango's won this match. He's managed to get another victory over Bad News Barrett. And now we know Fandango versus Daniel Bryan on Raw. The winner will go to the Royal Rumble to face Roman Reigns for the Intercontinental Championship. Gotta hand it to Fandango. He's turning some heads here in the WWE and in our universe. Been quite a crazy SmackDown thus far. I've enjoyed it, but of course we've still got our main event. It's like I said, this one, it's our main event. It's got 2 big stars in. But I feel least excited for this one, which is why I'm not going to be playing it. And it's Rob Van Dam going over there on Chris Jericho to finish off SmackDown. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. We will see you on Raw, and I'll continue to try my best to improve this series.